Hello. Today I am back with another Sudoku, and as usual, it's Fog of War, so I guess with that, we'll get right into it. Let's see, so we have standard Sudoku rules, standard Fog of War rules, digits in a cage can't repeat, digits in cells, so it looks like we just have crop key, and also we have standard arrow rules, and all squares must be even. So let's get right into it. Okay, so first of all we have three 43 cages here, which just based on their shapes I can get this, at least initially for shapes. Additionally, for 43 cages, they can never contain a 2, right? Because all the numbers 1 through 9 together sum up to 45, which means to get 43 you need to be missing 2, and the only numbers you can use to make to get rid of 2 is just the number 2, which actually means this has to just be a 2, because every other square was already taken. I guess I'll keep the coloring around for now, because it might be helpful. Additionally, these two have to be in a 1 to 2 ratio, which means it's either 3-6 or 4-8, since it can't be 1-2 or 2-4 because of the 2. And this one has to be consecutive to this, which means it's going to be 3, 4, or 5, or 7 or 9. Okay, let's see. I also know that this cage has to go down again because it can't go over, which means this one goes down again, which means there must be a 2 in one of these three for the column, and that means that this column must have a 2, which must be here. And let's see. How to get both of these need to be part of this cage, and this cage is going to continue down 2 more, and that'll be the entire cage, since 43 cages have to be 8 cells long. Additionally, I get a 6 cage, which is either 2 or 3 digits long, because 6 is either 1, 5, 2, 4, or 1, 2, 3. If it's 3 cells long, then actually it's just not possible, because in either case, every single digit is seen by a 2, so this must be 2 cells long, and it has to be 1, 5 because 2 is already here. This 9 cage is 3 cells long minimum, and that's also the maximum number of cells a 9 cage could be. And there are 3 combinations to sum up to a 9. We could have 1, 2, 6, which isn't possible because 2 and 1 are both already in here. So it says this is either 1, 3, 5, which also isn't possible because of the 1, 5 there, so it actually is just 2, 3, 4, and I can get a 2 there. And okay, here we have another 9, or another, well, this one's actually 44 instead of 43, and I already know, that means it's just missing a 1. I already have these cells here, and I know this cell needs to be part of the cage, and neither of these two can be, because then there want to be a border here, so it must go at least 1 more over, and there is 1 more cell total just in the cage. So that could be either of these. Actually, I don't have a great way of knowing yet, but I do know that one of these is a 1, since there can't be a 1 in this cage, so it must be one of those 2 squares. Over here, this is just 6, 7, 8, 9 quadruple, and this here is 4, 6, or 8 because it's a square and we already have a 2 here. Okay, where do I want to go now? Now then, I know that this cage here can't go down because it's just not visible, so it must go over, and that's going to give me all of the cells in this 43. This 43 here can't go up because of the border here, so it must go over as well. And I do not know which of these 3 is the final one, but actually, since none of these can have a 2, and there's already a 2 here, this has to be a 2. That also tells me that the last one goes up. And I'm going to get rid of the green and the red ones, and the purple one actually, since I know where all the cells are now in those. Over here, actually, that blue's the one color I shouldn't do. This is another cage that's just going to be missing a 1. I know that one of these two is a 2. I'm not sure if this goes up or down, actually, at the moment. I don't see a great way to know. So for now, I'm not going to worry about that. One of these is a 2. One of these 3 here is a 2. Okay. Let's see. I know that one of three and 4 is over here. One of 3 and 4 is here, so this can't be a 4. So it has to be a 6 or an 8. One of 6 or 8 is up here. The other one of 6 and 8 is over here, so this can't be 6, 8 either. Which means that, well, at least I know this is now a 7, 9. I don't see a way right off the bat to get more information than that. Also, thinking about this 44 needs to have a 2 in it. I already know that none of these 7 cells here can have a 2, and there's only 1 cell left in the cage, which means this one must go up to be able to get a 2 in it. And this gives me another 6, which has to be too long because there's no way for it to escape the box in time to make a 1, 2, 3 triple. And that's going to tell me that this is a 1 and this is a 5 because I already have a 1, 5 pair here and here. And that means I know that this 44 cage could go down 1 square, but it's going to have to go up at least 2, and it can't go over. So one of these 2 is the final square in the cage, and that means that one of these is a 1, which is going to give me this and tell me that here is the last spot in the cage. And additionally, I need to have a 2 in this cage. This box already has a 2, and these are the only 2 locations for a 2 in this box, so I know it must be here. And I guess here's the first arrow, just in the puzzle at all. One of these 2 then is going to be the end of the arrow, since you can't have an arrow within a box that is 4 cells long unless this is a multi-cell arrow. But they don't mention that in the rules, they only mention must sum to the digit, which implies only single-digit arrows. And there's a 1 over here, so this must be a 9 then with a 2, 3, 4 pairing. And I could get the 2 up here because none of the other spots are available, and my deduction seems to be completely correct. These must be 3, 4, 6, 8, because 2, 4, and 1, 2 are already invalidated by the 2 here. So we get that. I can't have 3 or 4 here, so I can't have 6 or 8 up here. And that means I also can't have 3 or 4 here, so this is 6 or 8, and this one up here is also a 3 or a 4. These 2 6, 8s are different, right, because they're both in the same cage, so that means these 2 are the same. I'm going to get rid of, I think, all the coloring now. I shouldn't need any of it other than just this as a useful reminder. And I'll color the other 2 like that. Okay. Now then, where does the pink 6-8 show up in this cage? It can't be here, it can't be in any of these, so it has to be in one of these 3, which I forgot this one existed, so I'm actually not going to follow that logic just at all, because it's not as helpful as I'd initially hoped. Let's see. This cage is going to have, well, it already has a 2 and a 1, so these cells here are just missing this value, which must be the same as this value. So I get this, and it could be any of these 3 up here right now, so I can't do anything more with that, at the moment at least. Okay. Let's see. One of these 2 must be the orange 6-8 because this one sees these 3 from the cage and this one just sees these 2. And this one sees this. Which means one of these 2 is the orange 6-8 as well. And one of these 2 here has to be the orange 6-8 just for the cage. I don't have any reasonable way to determine that at the moment yet. So that's as far as that's going to go. These 2 have to be the same number as well because they're paired there. Although that's not what I would call helpful, really. This one's the same, and then I'll just mark these two as blue. One of these two has to be a 3-4, but that's really just not helpful at all at the moment, so I'm not going to worry about that. Both 3 and 4 have to be down here, so both 3 and 4 have to be over here as well. Which means I know that the blue one is in here, but that's also not great or that useful, so I'm going to not do that at the moment. One of these 3 is the yellow one, but once again, I'm not seeing any way to make that useful. And in that case, one of these 3 has to be a 1, so one of these 3 is a 1. I don't see a great way to use that either, actually, at the moment. One of these 2 digits is the same as this digit. That's not going to help me, actually, at the moment, but it's good to know, I guess. This up here is 6, 7, 8, or 9, so this here is a 6, 7, 9, 8, which tells me I get a 1, 6, 7, 8 grouping over here. Yeah, okay. Where do I want to go next? Okay. I know that these 2 digits here have to appear somewhere in there, just because they can't be in this part of the column. I don't see a way to make that super useful, actually, right now. Let's see. Not sure where to go next, actually, at the moment. Just trying to see if there's anything incredibly obvious I'm missing, because, like, there's another crop key here, but I don't see any way to make headway with that. I'm pretty sure if I try using that, I'm just going to end up filling both of them with, like, pretty much every number 3 to 9. In fact, I think that's what would just happen. So, yeah, I'm not going to worry about that yet. One of these 3 is the orange 6, 8 from these 2. And so is one of these 3. And one of these 4 here, and somewhere along this group here, which is about as unhelpful as I could get information for right now. Let's see. This one here is 1, 5, or 7, I guess. I don't think that's groundbreaking or anything. Am I missing any rules? I don't think I am. Yeah, no, I'm not. There's no way I'm missing really any rules. So yeah, I just had to make sure, you know. Although I really didn't think it was a possibility. Okay. Well, this blue 3-4 actually, it has to be in one of these 2, right? Because it can't be in any of this. So, okay. And it's in one of these 2, which I guess I'll mark for now, so yeah, that means it's in one of these 2 as well. And over here it's in one of these 2, so it's in one of these 2. And here it's in one of these, and it's in one of these up here. Okay. And the yellow one is just in one of these 3. It's in one of these 3. Over, let's see. That means for this column, oh, the yellow 3-4 has to be just here. There we go. That's very useful. That means this one here is 3, 4, 5. I can also get rid of that there. 3, 4, or 5. I don't think I can do better than that at the moment. Okay. And that means that this one here has to be the yellow 3, 4 then. Which means that this one here is also the yellow 3, 4. And I can get rid of yellow pencil marking here, and that means that one of these two is the yellow 3, 4, which means this isn't the yellow 3, 4, and this is the yellow 3, 4. And it can't be paired with the blue one, so it has to be either 2, 3, which is impossible, or 4, 5. So I get a 4 and a 5, and that tells me this is going to give me a lot of information, actually. And then after this, I'll get rid of pretty much all of the coloring, I think, because it has outlived its usefulness. Yeah, I don't think the coloring is going to help anymore, so I'm just going to get rid of it. Okay. And then I know this one's now a 3, because there's a 3 up there, which makes this a 6, 7, 8, or 9. This one here is a 6, 7, or an 8. This column here is just a 6, 7, 8 column. And since there's a 6 there, this one can't be a 6. Okay. Where do I want to go now? Oh, whoops, I didn't get rid of all the coloring. There we go. Okay, then I know this one here is a 7, because of the crop key clue there. There's a 3 over here, and a 9 over here. One of these two is a 9. Okay. One of these two is a 3. And this row down here, I have 7, 8, 9 here, 6, 7, 9 here, and 6, 7, 8, 9 there. And these 3 are obviously the same as those 3 and those 3, so I'm not going to mark it. Okay. This row over here is a 1, 5, 6 triple. And there's a 6 here, so this can't be a 6. There we go. Okay. I still need to get 5, 7, well 7 and 9 have to be within these 3 cells, and I currently don't see a way to determine which. This column is 5, 7, 8, 9, so this, whoops. There we go. So I get this. Okay. One of these 3 is also a 5. And up here there's an 8, but I'm not going to pencil mark that since it's just clear from the pencil marking I've already done. One of these 2 is an 8 because all of these are seen by these 2. Which means that one of these 3 is an 8, and in fact it has to be one of these 2 because I already have, well, I can't have an 8 in any of these. So one of these 2 is an 8, which means that for this column here, one of these 2 is an 8. Okay. I need to still have, well, these ones here are 1, 5, or 9. And this one here is 1, 5, 7, or 9. Additionally, one of these 2 is a 3, which means that's not a 3. And one of these, let's see. Well, one of these 2 is a 3, and one of these 2 is a 3. I'll get rid of the pencil marking down here, but up here I guess I'll keep it. Okay. Let's see. Where do I want to go now? 4 7s. I don't think I actually have scratched that. 7 isn't going to go anywhere at the moment, I don't think. 6s also have to be in this bottom row in one of these two, because there's already a 6 in both of these cages. So let's see, I get a 6 in one of these two squares, which means if there's a 6 here, it has to be over here, and if there's a 6 here, it also sees this square. So we don't have a 6 down here. Okay. And this square here has to be the same as this square over here, actually, because it sees all of these 4, and the other 3 are already not 7 or 8, so it's going to be the same as this one up here. Yeah, okay. So now I know that's a 7 or an 8, and it's the same as these 2. Okay. Where do I want to go now? Okay. Well, one of these 2 is an 8. Actually, no, that's not going to get me anywhere. 4, 7. Let's see. I know that the 5s actually for both of these, because there can't be a 5 here, so for this cage the 5 needs to be in this column, and for this cage the 5 needs to be in this column, which means that this has to be a 1, and this has to be a 5. And that's going to give me a 1 up here, which actually means that I can't have a 1 in any of these, so this must be a 1. And that's going to give me a 1 up here, which means that this one here now has to be the same as this one, and also is only a 7 or an 8, which gives me a 7-8 pair, so then this one up here is a 6. And then I get a 6 over here, and then I get a 6 here as well. And this one has to be 6, and this one's a 9, and here's another 6. Whoops, that should be another 9. I was getting a little ahead of myself there. 7 and 8, there's a 9 up there. Okay. And this pair here is going to be a 3-9 pair. Yeah. And this column here now is 3, 6, or 9, with no 6 in this row. I can't have an 8 here, so this one must be an 8. And these remaining ones are 3, 5, and 9. And I don't think I can get any more. Well, this one can't be a 9. And up here I also have a 3, 5, or 9. This column needs 1, 3, 5, or 9, but actually that's not as helpful as noticing that this is just a pair, which is going to be a 1, 9 pair. Since there's a 1 up here, 9 here, 1 here, this is now a 3, 5 pair, so this is a 9. And let's see, this is going to be a 3, 5, or 7, because it can't be a 6, since there's a 6 here, which means this one here must be a 6. And then down here I can't have a 7, and I'm going to get rid of the corner markings. This is now a 6, 8, 9 triple. Okay. Alright. And that means this remaining one here is going to be a 7. So now I have a 1, 3, 5 triple up here. And let's see. This one here is 1, 5, 7, or 8, and I don't know which at the moment. Yeah, I just don't know which at the moment. This is a 3, 5, 7 triple, so the remaining ones here actually need to be 1 and 9, and since there can't be a 9 up here, this one had to be a 1. And this might actually be the final part to solving this puzzle, it looks like, because that's gonna give me pretty much every set of digits I had sitting around waiting to be solved. Yeah, okay, so this one up here is a 1, and then over here is a 7, and that ends the puzzle. Alright, so yeah, hope y'all enjoyed, and see y'all next time I see y'all.